Hey, welcome everybody to another live stream with the Mohawk Forex team. I'm going to tackle another New York Open in about 7-8 minutes time. And we're looking at US30 and we've got gold on our charts as well. Already traded the London Open this morning already. Success. And so now we're ready to tackle the NY. News-wise, pretty lackluster today. The wholesale inventories, medium impact, and then tonight, then later on, sorry, it's the EIA crude and gas. Again, are highly volatile at the moment, but so really nothing major. It's going to be all about the open and see what we can get in the first 15 minutes or so. The open, US30 here, see, sat on good support and sat on our red dotted breakout zone. Like this high. Back some of the losses from London. The open in London, it was down, bottomed out, retested the VWAP line, as we know, and then back down again. So we're going to get a continuation below, or hopefully high. So, and on gold,
don't go into recession at some point in 2023 or beyond. You certainly go higher than
again.
But for me and for RDA, I think it's more about the secular.
Could go higher again. It could bounce against our trend line. It rejected here and came down. It's on 18.4 at the moment. It's just our breakout zone. So this could be a nice new support level for it to pull higher. Heavy resistance at 18.8. And it could
been
retest
bouncing around in that zone for the past couple of days.
Could retest on support before.
We're in. Maybe it's 350, maybe it's 375. You know, it'll be hard pressed to get to 4, I think. But you know, again, if this cycle has no.
Let's see, RSI is obviously that no man's zone at the moment. Stochastic's red, so there's not really a trade at the moment. You want them two to sync up together. Stochastic goes green while the RSI is in the same kind of position, then you're good to take a buy. Trend bar's green as well. It's missing that final piece. That's because you can see it's sat on this right now.
You're pushing back against that, aren't you? You think the
we're going to go in on, manage to grow our account.
Longer than people think.
We truly believe that the 40-year in the 40-year bull market in treasuries is
growing our account from the 600 start to 5 now. Monday, see if we can a bit more on that. Try and double the account. Weeks trading the opens and news events. It's 2 weeks we've done that. Last week we had help with the NFP. Big move, obviously, like a week is a lot less.
we saw in the 1960s around the amount of monetary stimulus used to fund the Vietnam
Not
War,
necessarily a
and then
dead
going
week,
into
but
oil
it's usually a little bit
prices.
slower right after
It's
NFP's
exactly what's
announced.
going on now. And she didn't even mention it. She wants to blame Putin in Russia and Ukraine and
There we
supply chain
go.
constraints.
Break
They still
him.
have this mentality that things are
Trade yet, like
transitory. Well,
the
if you
open.
believe that, you know, going back to the crisis,
Indicator. Trend line break.
then hey, it's going to be around for a while.
See if it's, there's our baseline in there.
Coming up the morning calls and later Exxon, $100. That conversation coming up next.
Our breakout levels. Like I say, if you want information on all this and how to use this indicator system and get access to it, then you go to the Mohawk Forex website. Go. So now we've got breakout levels on our chart. Sync with the points. You've got a zone, yeah, which is always good. Zone here. You've got a zone here. Zone here. Look, you can see points of time, which is of Fibonacci combination. Breakout level. So you know this is where you could TP table, but reversing on.
Which is surprising considering what the European Space Agency has achieved and how vital it is to the global space industry.
We've collaborated with pretty much everybody who is involved in space exploration.
But ESA wants to be a leading
Who's going to push
force in
Forest? Is going to average green if it buys on the. No, we're so close. 3 minutes to go.
If we want to have successful human missions to Mars, we are going to have to learn to live and work off-world in a different way. The place where we are going to learn to do that is on the moon.
And ESA help humanity take its next giant leap.
Why do the biggest names in business choose Bloomberg?
That is a great question.
It's a great question.
It's a great question.
Great question.
Great question.
Great question.
Great question.
That's going to be the best question I get all night.
I'm glad you asked that. Bloomberg Television. Top experts. Great questions.
We're 1 to 500 leverage. IC markets. So yeah, we're on 925.47. 600 art. Lot sizes is just 1, 4.1. Still keep low, lowest one. Still a high margin of $31. So you haven't got an awful lot of leeway for trades. Gotta make sure we're going in the right direction. All down, but want to trade. Like I say, you can trade DAX with it. Well, go with the rest of the bag. Got 1 minute 16 seconds, 1 minute 50. Up. The continuation of push up to the 330.17. 2. Get a reversal. Up. 8. See. Moment.
Soaring energy prices and a short supply of key chemicals that produce synthetic
15 seconds. Good luck, everybody. Wait for the move, remember that. Do anything. Initial push and bounced off the baseline. Look. Go.
Compost breaks down, the manure and the straw breaks down into a friable mix that can be mixed into your
RSI is right on that 49.
Holds the nutrients in, holds the water in, and it really increases the kind of biodynamic profile of the soil.
The recent price spike
8.
could mean more farmers going organic for
Like
the
it.
long term.
On support. Bounce off this.
Front row, exclusive
Still down on the
interviews with the most
advertise.
influential figures in finance.
8.
Lloyd Blankfein.
Deflation is a terrible thing. Inflation.
So now you want to be entering, you know, the highest point or low family price right on that
Jeremy Grantham.
We've had a very, very abnormal honeymoon Goldilocks
breaking
period.
through. There we
First available
go.
on the Bloomberg terminal, then on Bloomberg Television and Bloomberg.com. Front row, the best seats in the house for business's greatest minds.
I
And
think what we've seen during this period of time is that communicating via
Brilliant.
video is
All
not
done.
a fact,
There you go.
that we
In and
are
out.
in
As
all
soon as I got in the bear
lives
signal.
will work for
And we managed to take, how many positions did we grab there? We grabbed 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 positions. And we won 20, 20, around about $100 there. So that's pretty good. There you go. Bear signal. What we got to do is just wait for that range to finish. Now we can go back in again. Just wait and see. Price is down here. Look, let's see if it reverses. Nice clean open. That's the kind of what I like to see.
Squeeze that in, down about 0.5%. From New York, there's your opening bell. Switch at the board and get to the bond market. Yields look a little something like this.
Literally, as I placed the trades, they went straight to the take profit. Yeah, you haven't got time to set stop losses and all that. You entered them, you set your preset level, it hit them pretty much. It was in the green straight away. There was no red on those trades because you're going with the momentum. Pushing down, as you can see now. Look, price is just here.
Here are your movers. Here's Abby.
John, let's take a look at one big laggard this morning, and that, of course, is Intel shares have been cut city after the management is basically talking down the quarterly outlook. We've had so many companies recently announcing to the downside. Intel doing it in a softer way. That chip stock down 3.5%. Western Digital, on the other hand,
Our size 35. Just keep an eye on that. Still curling down. You want this white line that's bouncing around. You want to be catching it at the highest point.
Into two companies, the flash memory and then the disk drives. Roku up 5.1% as the insider sell window has closed. So essentially, employees cannot
No support level there at the moment.
More at stake. Analysts like this move quite a bit. And then Alibaba up for a third day, up about 4% as China has approved more
Got some more wins there.
We've seen this big rebound. There's a debate now whether or not this is
another 41, 48.
China Tech. The contrarian, however, John, who
So I remember this is from a 900, so our account is pushed up now to about nearly 1,000 now. Good.
Down more than 50% at the lows. He says this is not a viable bottom. But
there you go. The candles filled that wick. There's your white line. So now you're going to wait again. If RSI hits our 25 zone, we know we can go again for a sell. We're going to see it break through this zone at the moment. There we go. Look.
A re-entry signal on gold. Beautiful.
Yeah. Highest point.
More than that this year alone. Taylor Riggs has more. Hey, Taylor.
John, briefly yesterday hitting 120 on crude, and that trend continues today. Now trying to hover near that 120 or so.
Bearish divergence on the RSI.
The story of the
We're going to push up a little bit.
The energy sector. The themes for the days continue. Really is the theme for the years.
The re-entry signal hasn't stuck. It's just flashing.
Hasn't really done anything gold yet, has it? It's kind of just hovered on that minor resistance.
When I take a look at the S&P 500 and you're taking a look at the best performance in the energy sector, up 65%, that blows you away until you realize
Still waiting for a move on gold.
Energy, crude really has
just flattened.
120%. So typically, if we think about correlations, maybe one would expect a little bit more of a better.
A little range leading up to the open.
Energy stocks, when you think about the actual performance of energy, I think what is so interesting though is you're actually getting some.
We just took some more wins on US30. Brilliant. There, push down. I entered just as price action was on that line. Yeah, it's watching RSI, watching the stochastic. 27, 26. If we go 25, we can go again. Gold's not done anything.
the huge gains in crude that you've
Yeah,
seen.
I'd say they're very
that
disciplined.
move.
Seemingly no interest in building out capacity.
Nope, it is
Building out supply.
all about cash flow, returning money to shareholders. That has been the theme of the decade, maybe, and that certainly has been continuing this year.
That's 12 trades away, all on US30 so far. The gold could be pushing up. RSI, we're going to get green stochastic.
Yeah, growth has dominated for so long, John, and we've seen a couple
Looks like it's trying to close up.
where we see a period of value outperforming dramatically. It never really seems to last. The question is
Hey, nice little jump right there.
Yep, they've gold pushing up.
as we have the specter of higher rates, which puts pressure on higher multiple, higher growth companies. We actually have the S&P Value Index only down about 4% this year. Its growth counterpart is down 21%. So that puts value on pace for the widest margin on an annual basis of outperformance relative to growth in any year since 2000. And value has now actually regained all of its losses relative to growth since
30
the
again.
pandemic began. Now, of course, that's reflected on
Sat on that support, so it didn't break. It was a false break. That's what you're going to watch out for. Wait for the next candle. This is the new candle. Going to push if you put through again.
Communications and tech, all of which are, of course, tech heavy. So growth stocks are
Get a reversal. Looks like it's reversing or it's linked up a little bit.
We had Microsoft last week cutting its estimates, talking about FX headwinds. We've seen a number of companies from Meta to Tesla maybe freezing hiring. And overall, Bloomberg Intelligence says that since mid-April, growth stocks estimates have slid by 7 percentage points for the second quarter. They've been cut for the second half too. Meanwhile, values estimates for earnings have gone higher. The one thing I will say though, when we're talking fundamentals, John, valuations for growth companies were around 30 about 2 years ago, now down at 21 for a forward PE multiple. So yes, these stocks are still relatively more expensive, but they've gotten a whole lot cheaper, John.
Kelly Lights, thank you. How's this for a story? Some reports from a Swiss finance blog that State Street could make a 9 Swiss franc share bid for Credit Suisse. So that means we were down hard over at Credit Suisse, and we've erased much of that loss following that report. Taylor Reese, let's catch up on this one. What do you see? What have we heard this morning?
Bells.
What do you make of the latest development?
Yeah, John, so this is interesting because we were going to be coming on and talking about Credit Suisse and potential job cuts, and this is sort of an interesting...
Again, it's just ranging around that level where you set that 80 to 100. We're just catching the bottom of this spy because this could be a reversal. Could be a buyback to the ranging around. We've got a minor support level, but extra levels here. Look, still to come. Zoom out on our trading grid. Again, we've still not had the full move. It's kind of done the break on the NY Open. Then it's just at the moment. That was the Open.
Dive deeper into this, but really interesting on the heels of sort of the announcement this morning of
See
looking
that
at perhaps maybe some more cost-cutting
testing.
measures, trying to make perhaps some more
Definite sell
value generation
on
underway, John.
Taylor, thank you. Let's catch up on that
30.
5 or 10 minutes just to
I'm going to see if this next candle got 50 seconds. This next candle.
called Inside Parade, citing a single insider, just to give you an idea of what's behind this report. Bloomberg has reached out, of course, to
Gold, is it going to push up or not? It kind of sat now on support.
So far, we've reached out to Credit Suisse, of course, for comment. They declined to comment.
Got green stochastic though, so
the report
going to bounce off its level now.
Insider from a Swiss finance blog called Inside Parade, saying that
I'm still waiting for the break. 20 seconds to go. Either going to be a
that offer could come
move back.
So we were down hard on that name, and now we're down just 1%. We'll continue
40 pips, neutral.
The broader equity market, we are down about
Dropping.
1% on the S&P 500, and we've seen many cuts to the outlook. Here's the latest from David Starr.
RSI's 28 is flattened.
Private bank, 4250, down from 4500. Goes on to say a good chunk of the recent decline in stock prices is attributed
Yeah, it's not happening. No, it's not broken yet.
in distant earnings. As a result, we revise our year-end
By 30, so just don't trade it. You know what I mean? We just don't know yet. We need to break another level before we take
good friend of the show, good friend of mine. Let's work through it.
Same as gold. Look, is it going to push up?
Basically, no gains for the rest of the year.
Well, sure. Good
There was your opening
John.
candle.
Discussions with our equity team,
That's it.
about the outlook.
Buy.
I think we see
It hasn't really made the move yet.
Compression ahead, for sure. We absolutely are in the count that the growth is going to slow. Our economics team.
US30, is it? Nope. Is it going to try and break the trend line? Are we going to get a trend line signal? There we go. Just as I speak, we get a trend line signal now. Is it going to push our daily result?
How high the Fed can go in their policy tightening, and you get to, as you say, a rather
buy
modest
level.
for us. I think that the point on the longer term, earnings is a very interesting one. As we've seen, next 12 months earnings have continued to grind
So I
higher
like to see these
this year.
again, as long as it breaks the good chance to do business.
Sectors such as healthcare that have that resilience.
So we haven't got any position yet.
Over the earnings
Move, like I say, gold has really stalled out.
3 to 5 years growth, which are present in the market, have come in quite a
We're more
bit.
likely going to sell down to the breakout line now, but we don't know. 30
Optimism built up
in.
Post-pandemic about some of these digital trends.
So once this indicator appears, then we're going to see a break of our resistance line. I get into the zone here, area here.
Growth for this cycle. No reason why the long run trajectory of America has changed. So I think that's an important aspect to this decline we've seen in growth stocks this year.
So David, last time
again,
you said a softish landing is still the base
right.
case for you, and
I'm going to break this level.
Struggling to reconcile that view with this view
good
of
gap there.
On the S&P 500.
Yeah.
How do you pair
Again, the magic number 10 to 85 to 10.
A little bit more.
Sure, John. Very simple. If nominal GDP is going to slow from its
57
in the
left.
last 2 quarters, and yet things like the labour market wage growth are still going to be reasonably robust, you get a compression of margins, and that's why you can have absolutely economic growth next year of below trend. Let's be clear, like we're calling for, I think, 1.4% growth next year. That's below trend for the US economy. Well, having a pretty muted earnings upside from here. We will need, I think, to see a clear turn in optimism about corporate earnings, clear signs that the Fed won't have to go, say, above 3%, clear signs that margins reach a bottom before the equity market
the breakout level.
Sustainably. Now, look, in that time, John, you're going to have tradable rallies, and if you're watching this program,
we had the last reverse.
You can absolutely make.
And that's the level it's at now.
Long
Easy.
Really find a bottom. I think they need to see a few of those.
Say why isn't it breaking the
if you put a weak GDP number
last level that had
earnings growth, it really happens to be not the most exciting outlook for
really going to break that level
on a market-wide level.
by out between that's a new move.
For some long-run investors.
And on the other side,
we'll get some
income in bonds. David, are you more confident?
Again, stalling on US30.
Than perhaps there is in
that little move, that's such a poor week open move, it just hasn't really done anything. And again, wait by above, I'll wait for a break below and capture. Yeah, next move.
When the 10-year is north of 3%, it's time to add, especially.
Then we're in a holding formation.
I think this represents an important evolution in the market drivers. Last 3 to 4 to 5 months, we've seen bonds be the issue.
7 sectors down.
Raising the discount rate.
Oh yeah,
the equity multiple.
it's all been down. The kickback does break that zone.
I think that the correlation has started to flip. The bonds can.
RSI really needs to get back into the zone on our RSI for it to.
Duration when you can get more than 3% on a US 10-year. Don't get me wrong. Certainly, further losses would be possible if the inflation proves a bit stickier. And Friday's CPI report absolutely crucial there. If you get more hawkishness around the world, the ECB tomorrow, for example. So it's obviously not a one-way trade, but we think there's an asymmetry here that if you are looking for a severe slowdown in growth next year, bonds are going to help protect your portfolio in a way that they haven't in the last 5 to 6 months. So that's an important evolution now.
On the small account.
How deep will the economic slowdown be? How deep will the margin compression be? We're obviously pretty cautious on those fronts, and that's why we're advocating clients that don't have a lot of duration in their portfolios to start to add.
Bonds are back, according to David Stubbs. David, stick with us. I want to talk to you about the ECB in just a moment. Coming up on the programme, we'll do that and State Street potentially making a bid, maybe later this week, according to a report for Credit Suisse. That's next.
Oh, hold.
Next.
Shows you how lackluster markets are at the moment. Ooh, place. It's still there, doesn't do on, but see how the trend line's now moved, you see. So the push distance drop. Price is just right in that zone now. Same. Exciting to report at the moment. Watch and see what it makes.
Nuestro estudio, nuestro experimento, no hemos pintado todos los edificios de blanco, sino estos más asequibles de pintar. Y ya hemos detectado reducciones medias en el área metropolitana de 0,8 grados aproximadamente en un periodo de ola de calor, y con picos máximos de 4 grados de disminución en un momento puntual del día, en una zona puntual del día. Y como dices, en una ciudad como Barcelona funciona incluso mejor que las zonas verdes, según las modificaciones nos detectan incrementos, o sea, disminuciones de temperaturas mayores con tejados blancos que con incrementos de zonas verdes como tienen planteados el plan director urbanístico.
Yay! Brilliant! Look at that. Beautiful. Nice little push up.
Bloomberg has enhanced search on the terminal to deliver.
I'll do nicely on US30.
Now, you can
increase my lots just to 2.
English in the command line.
That. Got 5 positions from there, so that was pretty good.
Find people. Analyze markets. You can enter phrases.
Jumped in.
Or ask questions.
Saw price break above the blue zone. You can see it well above there. Look, that gives me another about 10 pips per trade. What it's all about. Just want to see these small moves, little breaks of each zone before you enter it. Gold has decided to dip, I think. Yeah, down, bounced off our breakout. Going to struggle to go any higher than where it was, like 18.5, I think. Coming down.
The focus on the European banks. A bit of news from Credit Suisse earlier this morning.
Credit Suisse.
In the last 10 minutes with the latest.
They're in trouble.
John, I want to be careful here. Of course,
Go figure.
The Swiss finance blog, State Street may be, according to this report, offering to make 9
Is that what Bloomberg's going on about?
Bid for Credit Suisse here. Now, when I'm taking a look at some of the Swiss franc
could bid for it.
I have about 680 or so hugely negative. And then, as you can see there,
yeah, it's been going to be bought out. So the shares has gone up.
That report. I think what's interesting is before this and before sort of that big move upwards, the story really has been about a bank and a turnaround situation, warning again about another loss. And really then looking at cost cutting and job cuts, and something that, John, that we've heard really sort of
gold. Yes, there's the move on gold. I hope you got the sell on gold, everybody.
This sector as well. I think sort of another interesting story behind this is they're citing monetary policy, significant tightening that's underway. And I know that you're going to talk about the ECB, and yet Citigroup coming out and saying that, well,
$10 on 30 as well.
So again, sort of the big news this morning was really coming into this story, the big job cuts, a turnaround, another loss for the bank, and then of course a big move higher here on a Swiss finance blog report that 9 francs per share could be bid from State Street.
RSI neutral, nicely pointing down to bed. Going to push down back to our neutral.
Here at Bloomberg, we'll keep you on top of our reporting. That's some of their reporting out of Switzerland at the moment. Taylor Riggs, thank you. Brilliant work this morning. As always, looking forward to the close a little bit later. That is the story for Credit Suisse. Here's the story for the ECB. Matt Miller, we might see something in the next few months that we haven't seen in a long, long time.
Yeah, and I think the key phrase there is in the next few months. The
Brilliant.
swap is unbelievable. I was just looking at the rates John. And the last time they were positive, Barack Obama didn't have any gray hair. He was in his first term.
Stuff.
The hit song was
Wins
Call
on
Me
gold.
Baby by Carly Rae Jepsen.
Switch to my
Tesla hadn't yet delivered its first Model S, and my friend
count.
Gupta was celebrating her quinceañera. So it was a long time ago. This is the inflation
Bells on
picture right
gold.
now at an all-time high. That is, of course, since they started measuring the entire euro area inflation, but still 8.1%.
You can see what's happening. You know, when something reaches an area of resistance or support, the candles go weak and small and range around a little bit. Usually, the break is to the opposite way. Usually. I mean, usually you'll get the fourth or fifth candle breaking through, then you're onto a new level. But when you get this kind of pattern, 9 times out of 10, it's going to reverse. And all you got to do is just wait for it. See the setup. You can see it was either going to break the trend line and be a buy or drop below. And edging your bets, you know, add the RSI and the stochastics telling you yes. I mean, trend bar is still green, so we're still in a bull run. This is just a slight pullback. Trend bar has not gone grey. Could just bounce off our support and be back up again. But this is enough to get you some money. And there you go. And there's the red. Again, I wouldn't be entering right now. Just wait for the break. Scalp between here and the neutral zone. RSI just gone red. Unity. Red.
If you look at bunds, the gains that we've seen this quarter are going to be the biggest quarter we've seen in a century.
It could reverse off this, or it could break through it. So.
It's pretty amazing, the picture there. So I think everyone's going to be glued to this meeting tomorrow.
Matt, this was nice. It's been a while, hasn't it?
Yes.
Looking ahead to the ECB. We should do that again. Matt Miller, thank you, buddy. It's good to hear from you. Matt Miller on Bloomberg Radio with Paul Sweeney in around about 10 minutes' time. David Stubbs back with us from JP Morgan Private Bank. David, we haven't seen this since 2011. We've had negative rates since 2014. Your point, your view on the big change that's come in from this ECB?
You're right, John. Absolutely historic stuff coming soon. And I think that there is an understandable desire to rapidly get away from negative rates. No one wanted to get into negative rates initially.
Got US30, there you go. Look, there is the break. This is how good our indicator was. Bang on. Be a buy, and now we're at the breakout zone again. And a bull signal even on US30.
A little skeptical that what's priced into the market, i.e. their policy rate getting close to
If it's going to break above our breakout zone.
Is getting a little ahead of itself for a couple of reasons. First,
I love this new setup we've got, the new indicators. They're all bang on point.
2008, just before the financial crisis. They hiked in 2011, just before the European banking crisis. They know that. They don't want to do it again. And then, of course, we still have, despite some very significant...
Don't forget to mention the fact that we're constantly fine-tuning and updating those indicators based on market conditions.
Look at the spread between the Italian debt and the Bund. It's risen significantly in the last few months.
Neil's done a phenomenal job on a suite of indicators we can develop strategies around and constantly fine-tune and improve it.
Because it's not like other monetary areas. And so I think those two considerations are going to still leave an institution, as Matt pointed out, incredibly cautious, happy to be behind the curve, happy to see evidence of inflation pressures building domestically, and still moving methodically.
Buys.
The Italian bond market, they want to worry about.
So we've done about 24 positions now. All green. Really nice. Nice position to be into. There you go, look. So US30 now. Beautiful. Got in because I thought it break zone. Once it breaks the zone, the white line will off. Nice bull signal. Can't ask for better than that. Got to be in on that trade. As you see it break that level.
5.50 into next year for sure. But then the outlook is so uncertain because of the energy issues. How big a hit is it?
Side bright green low, hit that 75 level, pushing up higher.
As we move into next year, are we going to have rationing of energy and shortages and rolling blackouts, as some people are talking about, John? So I do think that they are mandated to focus on inflation. Remember, they don't have a dual mandate, unlike the Fed. They are solely focused on keeping inflation close to their 2% target and a bit below it. They have the core inflation there that is way too high. They need that to stabilize and start to come down. We think that's going to play out over the next 6 to 9 months.
Back look, as we said, off that zone.
Maybe not as high as the market is currently suggesting.
They do have this kind of shadow mandate, though, don't they? This unofficial mandate, if you will, and that stability in the peripheral bond market.
Buys on US30.
how are they going to do that?
John, I think it's really interesting.
Again, why did I take them? Because I went straight in on the RSI, right green level.
Focused bond buying mechanism, i.e. something that
Again, once you see it,
with clear criteria, probably quite
got to go in on that.
for them to restart.
And I saw it break that level, just got out as it hit the next points of interest. I was going to get some resistance, and now we're in heavy, we're up towards the heavy resistance zone. So this is where you've got to be a bit more careful.
Has been tied up with the overall macroeconomic goals, but you're right.
So it's just like climbing a ladder down. RSI 75 as it gets, if it gets up to that 85 plus, then I'm only looking for reversals. But now you can still have a continuation buy. If it finishes, you've got a minute left. Goes to the next.
To trigger further bond buying of the periphery if they see a
So
genuine
we've
domestic reason.
smashed our daily TP. We've done about 30 positions, and we're 5 minutes before we end the stream. So it's absolutely perfect. 45 minutes to own your daily cross. That's what you want.
Up next, trading diary from New York. This is Bloomberg.
When I get email in, take profit filled. My favourite emails. As you can see, I was right. Look, it backed off. That's why you've got to get in and out on those ones. When it hits that 75, in and out, get in straight away, load the trades up, take the green, and come straight out again. You know, that's why I have them preset, like I say, that 85 to 100. Wants to go again. Look. Wait for price to go. Just because storage just reversed down on us. Now we've got a nice support level here. Gold ranging around. Look, hasn't really done anything. I'm at trend line now, so it's really trapped between. It's like a wedge. It's trapped. Depending on what happens. Yeah, we could see this hit back. Look where VWAP is, you know. Broke through VWAP here. Now there's the VWAP back at 1850, our daily pivot. Perfect. Is gold going to come down to that level again and retest? Let's see. True buy needs to break above 18.5. So 2 minutes left on the stream here. So we're not in any position now. The smashed out the pot today.
Time to close the laptop.
That's it. Yeah, I'll switch to demo account, whatever. You know what I mean? That's keep practicing. Yeah, there's no substitution for practicing and fine tuning, and you know, the more you practice, the more you know where you're going to take a trade or not. You know, simple as looking at it, you got to do it. There we go. Here's the news. Look.
Coming up on Friday.
That's the big one.
Thank you for choosing Bloomberg TV. This was the countdown to the open.
CPI data on Friday. Our jobless claims. Yes, that's what we'll be trading tomorrow. Got 1 minute to the wholesale inventories. I don't know if it's going to do anything, but we'll watch the countdown anyway. But tomorrow is our usual continuing jobless claims. It's the continuing one result I'm always looking. And then Friday, as Bloomberg just said, we're going to be looking at the core inflation. 8.3% is predicted, they're saying, to be the same, to not actually go any higher. Is it flattening out?
Maybe, but that's our monthly report to see how far we get to bend over the barrel for the rest of the month.
Yeah. Then you've got the consumer sentiment, one of our favourite ones. But yeah, it's going to be interesting to see whether inflation is flattening out. That will be good news. Market. Wholesale inventories coming up now. You can
I wouldn't
watch,
put too much faith in it though.
go look wholesale inventories. You can do gold on this. You will see if gold does not do anything or not.
But there's an incoming revolution on
Dropping, look.
that isn't quite as sexy,
Gold.
but could be significantly more impactful.
Container shipping is the key component.
Worse than expected.
About 80 or
2.2.
of all the world's goods are transported at sea at some point.
But there's a significant unseen cost to the modern era of global commerce.
See if this does anything. Yeah, it's dangerous. You're so close to the zone.
May not sound like a lot, but that's roughly comparable to the entire CO2 output of Germany.
You've got green stochastic, you've got grey RSI, big hand.
Technological improvement to help reduce the
Trend bar's just gone grey, so this could be a sell. This could be what I said, the retest back down to neutral. Bouncing off that. So US30 drop. Yeah, look, it spiked down a little bit. That news. Shows your level around here up. So to grab some on that, but I didn't trade it. Like I say, it's not a major result either. It's only just it's around where they predicted it.
Number fever campaign in the Philippines has probably
it. We'll continue watching US30. It's had its pullback. Is it going to climb any higher? Is it going to get up to 33175? We'll watch. At the moment, it looks like it's pulling back, dipping down on the RSI, dipping down on stochastic. Yeah, little cheap sell. Hey, as I said, it's time to close the laptop when you've hit your daily TP, whatever that is. Could be $5 you want to win a day, could be 100, could be 1 million, doesn't matter. Once you've set your target and you've achieved it, no matter how easy or how hard, that's it, because that's when you
rigorous
do
discipline.
Sorry, Justin. Yeah, you're right. Yeah, discipline.
Yeah.
That's discipline. Because I know it's like we all do it, you know, you session, I can keep you winning, you end up giving it back.
Yep. That's the reason we set the times that we're gonna trade. We're gonna trade today, we're gonna trade opens, and we're gonna trade a couple news events. And we've got a set number of trades that we're gonna do for each one, or a set profit goal for the day, and then once we're done, we're done. Or we set, you know, we're just going to range scalp for 2 hours in London and 2 hours in, if we don't have any news events, range scalp 2 hours in London, 2 hours in New York, hit the opens, get the movement and the volatility areas, and then we're done. Once you hit that take profit goal that you set for yourself, or the max number of trades, or you get close to it, close the laptop. That's where you'll see your trading improve and your psychology improve. Whenever you start gaining that discipline and sticking to those rules that you set for yourself to follow, you'll see your trade game will start to level up.
Exactly right. Real word said. So that's it, and that's what we teach. And now look at this. We've got a breakout power move signal, the cross. So which way is it going to go? Gives us a heads up that something's going to happen. Could be a buy, could be a sell. Wait and see. RSI. Gives us a on green on the trends. We'll break back up. And again, for those in the group, keep watching. Get yourself to the website mohawkforex.com and join the group. We will be back for some more live streams, so Click the like, subscribe, get the notifications. Anyone wants to join in and watch what we do. Like Justin says, we have preset times. We're always here trading the opens, news events. That's where we know we get the momentum and the volatility to do what we do through scalping. And that's getting in and out of the market as quick. So again, thank you for joining us. We'll keep watching US30. We'll watch the oil news later on as well. And for everyone in the group, I'll be around later on if people want any help or questions, etc. Just give me a shout. And thanks to Justin for joining me.
Yes, sir.
As always.
Everybody trade safe. Catch you next time.
Yeah, take care everybody, and we'll see you on the next live stream. Take care.